Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. David Kelly here, race director of the Great World Race. Today we have a lady with us who started out as a hematology and oncology pediatric nurse. This led her on to fundraising for both leukemia and lymphoma for pediatric units. This ended up leading on to half marathons, Ironmans, half Ironmans, and also climbing 3 of the 7 summits. She is now spearheading the Summit Group real estate company in 38, Florida. Murray Morgan Holotik, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on the Great World Race podcast. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, I appreciate your patience as well, guys. Just to let everyone know there was 3 intros there. There was a bit of confusion on my side on the intro. So we finally got it there. So I appreciate your patience, Murray.
No problem.
Murray, so how are you? Listen, it's great. I know you're in Florida there at the moment. I know it's getting hot and humid as we discussed. But just to start off, if you want to give us a bit of a background there, my understanding is you're a pediatric nurse. I think both hematology, oncology, and both ICU. And that kind of let you on to, I think, your first sporting event. Is that correct? Or had you previous, sporting in, say, your high school years, etc.?
No, I did a lot of theater and in high school wasn't really very athletic. And I had gone to nursing school in Hawaii, so really got a lot more into outdoors and just being more active. And then from Hawaii, I moved to upstate New York and took my first job as a pediatric nurse. And we did hematology, oncology, and just basic. Okay, cool. And so after moving to upstate New York and working with these kids, I moved back to Dallas to start a job as a pediatric ICU nurse and got a brochure for Team in Training, which raises money for leukemia and lymphoma. So I did my first Olympic triathlon and I loved it. And I have the same coach from then, like 20 years ago, that is helping me train me now for this Great World Race. So that's kind of awesome. And he asked me to be a mentor the next year for the Team in Training. So I did another Olympic triathlon as a mentor for the team, which was super fun. And then I said, oh, maybe I should try a half Ironman. And then I was like, maybe a full Ironman. So that kind of just started the progression of doing more athletic ventures and, endurance events.
And was this all in New York?
No, I had moved back to Dallas at that point.
Okay, all
So,
right.
but
So you had the
all of my
benefit of
races,
sunnier climates during the winter, etc.
yeah, no, I was doing a lot of training in heat as I am now. But a lot of my all of my full Ironmans have been, I did one in Mallorca, Spain, one in Nice, France, one in Cairns, Australia. So it's always also a rewarding vacation as well.
And how did you find the obviously, you were saying that you didn't have a significant sporting background. The first Olympic distance triathlon, how was that?
It was great. I trained on my mom's like beach cruiser bike, so I could only go up from there at that point.
And after that, did you find like the prep for say the half Ironman and the Iron were they significantly more difficult, or was it you kind of had, I suppose, the training bug then, so it was just somewhat easy?
Well, I feel like definitely for a full Ironman, the training is a lot more intensive, a lot longer workouts. But I feel like it's just kind of as anything, you just start to get mental, and it's like I just can't give myself enough time to make an excuse to like not do my workout or not get my stuff in. Just like get up and go and check it off. Just
And when was
become
it? When
part
was
of
the first?
life.
When was the first Ironman?
My first Ironman, oh my gosh, was 15 years ago.
All right. Okay. Okay. So it was, yeah. So, and the last one?
The last one I did a half Ironman in Luxembourg 2 summers ago, and that was the first thing I've done since I've had my baby. I have she'll be 4 in July,
All
so
right.
it
So you
makes
kept
training
you kept busy there.
a little bit harder.
The training was the easy part. The training was the easy part.
Yeah, the 4 year old's
Minding the
the
kid
hard
is more
part for
difficult.
sure. The
So,
training's my break.
so on top of the Ironmans, you've also done climb 3 of the 7 summits. Could you give us a bit of a timeline on that or how that came about? Because obviously it's a far cry. Obviously people do move on, but the adventure side of it, it's definitely increasing the adventure side of things.
Yeah, I probably about, same kind of timeline 15 years ago when I started doing the Ironmans, I started doing some just like rock climbing, hiking, and for my 30th birthday, I climbed the Grand in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, the Tetons. And I mean, that was like, we kind of hiked up and then summited at sunrise, spent the night, summit, sunrise, climbed down. And it was just like the most amazing. Like, I loved it, every second of it. I love just being outside, the beautiful aspect of it, this part that you are not thinking about anything else while you're up there. It's just super peaceful. And I just feel like God is everywhere. And so then I was continuing nursing, and I had a couple friends that were nurses with me, and we decided we were going to do Kilimanjaro. So we went and did Kilimanjaro. We did the longer route just for fun and did 10 days on the mountain, which was, I loved. And then I was like, oh, well, Aconcagua sounds cool. So I kind of did my research and found Maximo Kosh. He's like kind of big in the climbing world in Argentina, and he's climbed more 6,000-meter peaks, I think, than like anyone else. Anyway, something crazy. But so I contact him and did Aconcagua, met some amazing people from all over the world. Um, and then from there, I called him in December of 2018 and asked him if he was going to do Everest. And he said yes. And we kind of went back and forth on WhatsApp, And then he's like, "You're talking about 2020, right?" And I was like, "No, like 2019." He's like in 3 months, 4 months. And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, I'm sure you could do it, but I'm not." He's going to be on K2. So he connected me with a guy named Arnold Koster. He's from Holland. He lives though in Kathmandu. So he was doing the north side of Everest and had room. And so I got to work, and 4 or 5 months later, I left for Everest. So that
How was
was
Everest?
it was absolutely amazing. I would definitely do it again. I mean, it's a lot of time, to be away from home, but it was beautiful, wonderful. I met again some incredible people, and it's been so awesome because, like I said, last summer I was in Italy, got to see someone that I climb with. We've actually like hung out multiple times that I've been in Italy since Everest, and then I was in Amsterdam after doing the Luxembourg half Ironman and got to meet up with two of the guys that I'd done Everest with. Still keep in contact with. I was with my tent mate in the high camps. She was the first Jordanian woman to ever summit Everest, and her and I still keep in touch. So it's just an amazing world. Like when you get to meet people that are kind of like minded and a little bit crazy, and connect with them and see them in other aspects of life than on a mountain.
Yeah, because my understanding is there's a guy actually from my hometown. He just completed his 7 summits. He completed Mount Vincent there about maybe a couple of months back. But my understanding is he was saying the timing, like base camp like waiting around, he said was just is
So
the longest thing for him.
it is. It's so, and our year was so weird because it was a really weird weather year. So we could never really even go past the North Call because no one could go fix anything. There was some kind of monsoon somewhere or something, but so it was a lot of waiting. And actually, a couple of us went down like into I mean, we were still on Everest, but we went down in one of the little towns for like 2 nights and hung out in a hotel. I mean, it's loosely a hotel. It was like a cement with a hole in it for the toilet, but which wasn't much better than when I was in, the tent. But it was a change of pace for just something else to do, but it was really cool. We went and did like a little barbecue and, you know, just something
And
different from base camp life because we were there for a long time.
was Everest was it? It's funny because I have a few people on that have like done a couple of the 7 summits. Was Everest significantly more difficult than Aconcagua?
Aconcagua, well,
Aconcagua, yeah.
it's just different because the length of time. You're just there for so much longer. I definitely think the summit day was definitely harder than Aconcagua, just because it takes so much longer to once you finally get to the final summit push. You're 13 miles in to advanced base camp, which is long in and of itself to, be in the cold. And then you go to camp 1, camp 2, camp 3, and basically from 2 to 3 you maybe sleep for a couple hours, but then you do the final summit and then you get all the way down, and something you've done over so many days, you're doing it all within like 36 hours. And you're not eating, you're not really drinking. Like, I just remember my Sherpa would like take my oxygen mask off and be like, you need to eat or drink. And you feel like you want to, but then it's like, bleh. No.
And when you return down to base camp, is it like obviously adrenaline, there's a huge achievement in it, but is it a relief as well as everything else?
Oh, yeah. When you get back, when you're done, I just wanted to
Yeah,
lay down. Yeah. But it was like bittersweet because then it's like it's over.
it's over. Then
So,
you're back to reality, phones and computers again.
yep.
Yeah. And regarding preparation for that, like, so preparation for climbing, say, versus an Ironman, is there any
Totally.
crossover at all or significantly different, or is there a base fitness there?
I think the like endurance base it was there for me, and maybe just like the mental um prep that you go into doing anything like endurance wise. I think you just have to be mentally prepared to like embrace the suck. Like there's gonna be parts of it that just suck, and like you just know it and you embrace it and you find joy in the journey. And that's what it is for me. But climbing for Everest or preparing for Everest was mostly just, I would live in Florida. It's very flat, so I would just walk with like a weighted vest at 15% incline, or run up stairs with the weighted vest, or a backpack in my hiking boots in the middle of, like Florida for
So you just
hours.
run up and down the stairs.
Went up and downstairs. There's not very many really high rises here where we live. So, the top we can get is like 9 floors. So I'm just running up and down the stairwell, 9 floors up and down. And a lot
So
of
for all
walk.
the scientists out there that are giving
Yeah.
advice on how to go up Everest, this is the real way. This is the way to get through it.
This is a very unorthodox way. Very.
And I presume, do you have plans to go back and do the other four summits?
Oh, yes. I want to do that was my plan. And then I summited Everest in May of 2019, got married in September of 2019, got pregnant in November of 2019. So
So it's been a busy
it was
couple of years.
it was
So your
amazing.
husband is to blame for
Yeah,
your husband is to blame for you not moving on to the other four summits.
yeah, but it'll come. I just can't at this point leave my little Bodie girl for that long, but they'll come. It'll come.
And just through that period as well, my understanding is you've moved from pediatric nursing into real estate. You have the Summit Group. I think you were saying you're working with some family members. It's great down in Florida, in 30A there.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. I miss nursing every day. Absolutely, it was such a rewarding job. Definitely challenging emotionally, but I loved it so much. It was almost like my therapy, and I think it's been like my inspiration for everything I do, to see, some kids that will never be able to, that don't leave the hospital, or can't go run, or can't go climb. So it's been literally a very huge part of my journey and who I am as a person, to see how resilient and amazing, these young kids can be. So I do miss it. But I was flying back and forth from Florida to Dallas to work, and that just wasn't conducive to my lifestyle as a mom and wife. So yeah, I quit right after we got married, and my husband's a builder and developer here on 30A. I've been coming here my whole life. I absolutely love the area. So we teamed up. I got my real estate license and I started selling his houses. Then I got my broker's license, became a broker. We started our own company, Summit 30A Luxury Realty. He got his license. And then just this year, we switched over as a Summit Group, and we're working with Compass Realty, and we absolutely love it. They just have so many incredible technology and help marketing, and so it's also a huge team of amazing people. So I've really enjoyed making that change to Compass, and
No, it's brilliant. Like, and it's obviously great working with family. I think you're saying your dad is working with you
yeah,
now as well, which
it's
it's
so
great. It's
fun.
no, it's brilliant. And so basically as well, what you're saying there as well, your husband is to blame for you leaving nursing as well. He got you into
Yep,
real estate.
not
Yeah,
even profiting.
it's no, but it's interesting you say there. I can understand the rewarding and the difficulties of obviously pediatric and oncology nursing and ICU pediatric nursing. Obviously, there's some great stories when people walk out the door, and you see people get better, but there's obviously a lot of tough stories along the way as well. But it's, as you said there, I can imagine it being extremely rewarding.
Yeah, I would say like it was the best job ever, but it definitely had its moments. And I built so many amazing friendships there. Some of my best friends are nurses that, we work alongside each other in a high stress environment. So, you have to, you can't come home and talk to your husband about what would happen in the ICU that day. So you build really good friendships also. So that was awesome
Yeah, lifelong friendships as well.
for sure.
And probably not good enough friends to start climbing mountains with you, but maybe you might persuade some of them.
I haven't convinced anyone to do anything like this with me yet.
So we're moving into November time, the Great World Race, 7 marathons, 7 continents, all in one week. How has the preparation started? Are you ready? Are you psyched?
I'm super psyched. I don't know if I'm ready quite yet. I had not really been doing anything working out wise since the half Ironman I did 2 years ago. Chasing around my baby is a lot of work. So, I know we had spoke a couple months ago, and I got really pumped up after talking to you about it. I talked to someone else who is done something like this, and I was so excited. I talked to my husband and just kind of asked him if this was something he would be okay with me doing, and he kind of gave me the green light. I don't know if he's hesitant or whatever, but I called my coach. I'm like, do you think I can do this? And he's like, yeah, you can do this, but we gotta get started. So I'm not fast at anything I have ever done, but I always get it done. And that's just the goal, right? To finish. So I'm
No,
also,
absolutely.
yeah, so I'm not like super athlete or anything, but I like to finish, just finish. And hopefully, it's something that is inspiring because I'm just a normal person. I didn't do athletics before, in high school or anything, or growing up being a super athlete, or runner, certainly not. But I feel like God's given me an able body and a strong mind, and I'm excited to try it
You
out.
got to you got to embrace it. And just actually, because you've obviously done multiple adventures between climbing and Ironmans, half Ironmans. Have you any fueling advice for people out there? Because I know people, one thing on these podcasts, I'm going to talk to everyone has different ideas. Like, are you a gels person? Are you like fluids? Or do you just eat everything that's there on?
Oh gosh, it's so different. I have done multiple things. I do the gels, but I don't love the gels. I do like half Gatorade, half water just to get sugar. But if I just start eating straight sugar, I just get like so sick. So I don't know. I'm really working on trying to figure out nutrition for this event because it's totally different than anything I've done. For an Ironman, I can crush sandwiches, on the bike and kind of work up before the marathon with food, but this will be really different. So I might need to be reading some of other people's advice on this one
Yeah. Don't worry. There's plenty out there because everyone I talk to seems to have a different
approach.
plan for fueling. And one thing I've learned about ultra races is like there's nothing off limits. Like I've heard everything from taking gels to just normal fluids to water to pretzels, and then I've heard of people eating carrot cake, red velvet cake,
Yeah,
just
that's
to get
probably
through.
more
So there's
a pizza, a hamburger. Yeah,
no,
maybe.
it's great. So it's good as well. Obviously, we're finishing in down in Miami, so I think that's a couple hours from from 30A.
Yeah. So not it's pretty far, but hopefully I'll be able to have some family and friends come out and
Yeah,
celebrate.
no, absolutely. And so there, the climb will definitely be good down there as well. But Murray, listen, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on today. Great positive, great smile.
Thank
We're going to
you.
have a great event, and it's great to have you on the event. And thanks very much for your time.
Very excited. Thanks for having me.